This conference will now be recorded.
This ends up giving Miranda a little bit more leeway, so that way she doesn't have to sit here and take notes.
Start now or wait?
If you'd like to, it's 7. What time do you have?
6:59.
Okay. All right. You do have a quorum with 4 individuals now.
Okay, I think we'll call the meeting to order. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
They're not from city staff.
Okay, if not, we'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Brian.
Is there a second?
Second, Dave.
We have to go roll call. So for all in favor, Brian,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Danny,
Yes.
and I will abstain. So motion approved. Next, we'll go on to the regular minutes of January 20th. Are there any additions or corrections? Oh, I didn't need to abstain.
So I don't think you needed to abstain. Yes.
So I'll vote to approve the
Yeah.
agenda.
That way we have 4.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes of the January 20th meeting.
Okay, is there a second? Dave and I have to abstain.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
So we could table it for next meeting then.
Okay. I think we have to, right? Because Dave and I were both gone and Danny was gone. Okay, we will table that until the next meeting. Next is the monthly financial report and accounts payable.
Yes. The only significant expense, and you'll see that under column J, as in Juliet, are for CETA professional services. So it'd be for my contract. Are there any questions about the budget at this time?
Motion, we approve the financial report.
Okay, all in favor, Brian,
Aye.
Dave,
Yes.
Danny,
Yes.
motion passed. Okay. Public hearings, none. Visitors to the board, none. Old business, Blandon Foundation Leadership Program 2021 update.
Yes, no action requested at this time. We are still looking for individuals to volunteer to be part of this cohort. I still have not received much, if any, feedback.
Okay. And then the ZM EDA collaboration, there is no action on that this morning either. So we'll move on to new business, the 2021 work plan.
Yes. So within your packets, you'll see the proposed work plan. I have here 4 goals underneath the economic development and 2 goals within community development. First goal would be focusing on childcare and to action to support and encourage new childcare businesses and support Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation and other organizations who provide support to childcare businesses. I do have an update on this regionally. Senator Tina Smith is proposing childcare support in the next COVID relief package. And CETA, we've been invited to join a virtual town hall on childcare issues in Minnesota. Some of the issues that we are seeing across all the communities within southeastern Minnesota, indeed all of southern Minnesota, include staffing costs, especially for childcare centers. The requirements for the certifications are so great that they're essentially need to be as qualified as teachers at the high school. And so then when they become that qualified or that certified, then childcare centers have to compete with local schools for these staff. And oftentimes they lose out because schools can provide better benefits. Admin time, because of the way things are structured, it's after about 1 through 5 children or 1 through 4 children at a center requires 1 staff. And then once they get 1 more, then they're required a 2nd staff. So even though it's a 10% increase in income, it's doubling their expense costs. So these are some of the things that are required of centers that we are bringing to Senator Smith's awareness. So that way, hopefully we can get it addressed on a federally legislative level. I've been working with Brian, talking with Brian, and for personal or for in-home care, there's other issues that are also needed, including staffing and time commitments, that especially with COVID, that need to be addressed at the state legislative level. And so we're going to be reaching out to Senator Goggin to at least make him aware of this. But goal for the EDA is to, proposed goal or action is to support new businesses and support Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation, who also provides support to childcare businesses. Goal number 2, tourism, promote and grow community events. So support coordination of the Covered Bridge Festival. This Thursday, we have a meeting after the city council meeting to address solidifying a date. So we're looking at one day in September 18th for the Covered Bridge Festival. And so we want to lock that in and then start providing coordinating events for that. We're also working with Grimsby Publishing to provide a Zumbrota visitors guide. And I'm working on providing content for approximately 10 pages of content for that, focusing on tourism aspects for Zumbrota. Action 2.3, encourage the formation of a 501c6 organization with the mission to promote City of Zumbrota, or an existing 501c6 organization to adopt the mission of promoting the entirety of the City of Zumbrota. The 501c6 is a legal structure that allows it to receive government funding, especially through Explore Minnesota and other state organizations, so they can receive grants for this. They generally don't provide funding to city governments, so the EDA would not be able to be a recipient of those grants, nor would private organizations or other non-government or non-governmental organizations, such as like a 501c3. So a 501c6 would be like a tourism bureau, a chamber of commerce. I understand that Ziba is a 501c6, so we just need to see if they'd be willing to adopt that mission of promoting the entirety of Zumbrota versus the business interests of their current group. So I'll be engaging in those talks with them. Then goal 3, housing. So increase facilitation and processing of future development of homes, including mobile homes of diverse styles and across all price points. We still have a housing shortage, even with the apartment building coming in. Some of the biggest demand would be in senior housing, and again in multifamily, that would be such as townhomes, which don't provide as much upkeep, especially with larger yards. that allow people to transition from their current single-family homes into these more densely populated structures. That would then open up these single-family homes to growing families. Goal 4, increase the commercial industrial business growth and support quality and diversity of economic opportunities, property tax base. So processes to facilitate and support entrepreneurship and business growth. And then action 4.2, support development of new commercial industrial lots. So that would include the new expansion of the industrial park, trying to find either a developer to come in to help develop that, or try to work with local landowners and see if we can get price points down to a level that we can actually manage. And then for community development, so indirect social and economic benefits, community aesthetics. So encourage and facilitate mural painting through the Southern Minnesota Initiative Paint the Town grant. That grant is currently open and closes at the end of March. And we've got it posted on the city's website and city's Facebook page. And then community brand. Support development of the visitor's guide, and then obtain grants to support upgrades to the campground and trail systems. We're currently working on drafting those grants to help that. And as in collaboration with the park board, actually being led by the park board, they want to get those upgrades done.
Any discussion on the 2021 work plan? If not, we'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
A motion by Dave, is there a second?
I'll second Danny.
Okay, thanks, Danny.
I can't get myself off mute. I have too many things. Sorry. Hey, this is Tina. I have a quick question. For the discussion part, is this, so once this moves forward here, so here's my question. So Ryan, I know that you are going to be done here shortly, and we're hiring a new individual in your place. Is this something that we want to address with a new individual before we move it forward, or do we just work off this for 2021 and then whoever comes in, we revise for 2022? Sorry, I didn't mean to throw a wrench in there. I just didn't know.
No, that's a great question, and one that I intend on having with whomever the personnel committee decides and with the CETA decides. If they want to, at least my intent with this is to give them something so that way they can come in with wheels running. So that way they don't have to come up with everything on their own day one. They can fall into something. But if you're open to it, maybe they could bring it back up. Maybe they may have other ideas on how to address this, or other ideas on how to address more pertinent issues that I may not be seeing or other city staff may not be seeing. So if you'd like, we could tentatively accept this until they reaffirm it.
No, I think it's fine. I just wanted to, so everybody's on the same page. I don't know what that will bring with a new community development individual. So that was just my thought, but I'm good. Go ahead and roll call it, Lindsay.
Okay, Brian, you're up.
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Danny,
Hi.
Tina,
Aye.
and Lindsay is an aye. Okay, new business part B, Smith funds, $1,250.
So, my memo here. So every year, the EDA has gifted Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation with $1,250 in support of their programs. In 2020, Smith provided 6 early childcare grants and 1 community vitality grant to businesses and organizations in the Zumbrota area. And it also helps that this supports the work plan and addresses a number of issues, especially childcare and supporting childcare within the city of Zumbrota and the immediate area. So city staff recommend a $1,250 gift to Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation for continued efforts to support businesses and organizations within the region.
Any discussion? Can't tell if there's a time lag. If not, is there a motion?
Are we approving the $1,250? Is that, we're approving that to be paid? Is that what the motion should be for?
Correct.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we approve the annual pledge of $1,250 to Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? I'll second. Okay, all those in favor? Lindsay, aye. Brian?
Aye.
Dave? Dave, I didn't hear you.
I'm abstaining.
Okay, Danny?
Aye.
And we lost Tina. This motion pass.
I believe so.
Okay.
Brian, would that be if we have
3 yeas and an abstain. We lost Tina.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we had 1 abstention. Well, for a quorum, yes.
Tina, do you want to vote on the Smith?
Sorry, my internet went out for a second.
That's
So
all right.
what was the motion?
The motion was to allow the $1,250 for Smith.
Yes, please. I
Okay.
vote aye.
All right, motion passed. And then reports, the 2020 annual report.
Yes. So there's quite a lot of development within the city in 2020, which is kind of surprising considering the COVID pandemic put a hamper on a lot of businesses, especially small businesses within the city and nationally. So business activity, there are 8 significant commercial and industrial projects within the city for a total valuation of over $51 million. They include 3 Rivers Community Action. They built a 3,110 square foot addition valued at $325,000. The Zumbrota Mazeppa Schools, various additions and remodels valued at over $20,789,000. Reliable heating and cooling. They built a new 2,916 square foot building valued at over $300,000. Dairy Farmers of America, various additions and remodels valued at $28,400,000. They have not included in this number are any equipment That's not part of this. This is only in just the building material and structures. So DFA is bringing in several millions more in equipment that in terms of upgrading their plant and investments. Zumbrota Ford built a 1,320 square foot addition valued at $215,000. A solar garden at 17331 460th Street, an 8-acre garden valued at $300,000. Family Dollar Tree, should be Dollar Tree, at the old Alco building, remodel the building for an 11,770 square foot commercial space valued at $200,090. And Quick Trip built they are building a 1,666 square foot addition and commercial kitchen valued at $800,000. Our current site inventory, we have 2 sites available, a 2.8 acre and a 1.5 acre site out in the current industrial park, which is just to the west of the Jacobson Commercial Park. So adjacent to Midwest Livestock and commercial water filters. So there's a definite need for additional sites, especially industrial. And the EDA did sell one site at 300 West Avenue for $108,000 for a 57-unit multifamily apartment building. And we should be getting the plans here relatively soon. So the revolving loan fund had a year-end balance of $177,332.71, with $102,267.23 owed from outstanding loans. Current outstanding loans are from Main Street Rentals, 281 Main Street Property, and Zumbrota Vet Clinic. These loans, as they get repaid with interest, can then be reused for other additional business loans as the EDA sees fit. The Small Cities Development Program, we continue to partner with the Southeastern Minnesota Multi-County Housing and Redevelopment Authority to administer a comprehensive multi-city grant from Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development. Over the years, assistance provided includes to 34 homes, of which $373,573.91 of SCDP funds, with $50,466.15 in owner and private funds. For rental units, they've helped support 22 units with over $758,791.36 of SCDP funds, and $44,454.87 in owner and private funds. And commercial, they've helped support 7 different properties with $162,297.05 in SCDP funds, with a matching, or not matching, but with $107,960.60 in owner private funds. So that's not just in 2020, but aggregated over their support throughout these past, as long as we've been partnering with them. The Covered Bridge Festival. Last year in 2020, the Covered Bridge Festival was canceled due to the ongoing SARS-CoV-2 pandemic. We are planning we still have to meet on this with the festival committee to confirm this, but we're tentatively planning for a September 18th plan to have a one-day festival then. The EDA in the city of Zumbrota approved a 26-year residential TIF to Keller Apartment Properties for a 57-unit apartment complex to be located at 300 West Avenue. It's projected to begin in the spring of this year, with a completion date no later than the fall of 2023. So beginning in March 2020, a series of shutdowns and other restrictions placed on businesses throughout Minnesota. The shutdowns and restrictions affected some industries more than other. The retail, services, and hospitality industries were heavily impacted. Secondary impacts on agriculture and food processing and others. Other industries, such as general contracting, building, and technology saw increases in demand. And we're seeing this in the development that we have. Due to SARS-CoV-2 pandemic, Federal CARES Act provided funds to local governments for relief. As part of that relief, a portion of those funds can be given to affected businesses. It can also be transferred to other government entities and services. Assistance provided to Zumbrota area businesses and institutions included CARES Act grants from Goodhue County and the City of Zumbrota. Goodhue County CARES Act grants were awarded to 29 businesses and nonprofits, totaling $256,958. That is 12% of the $2,217,620 that was distributed through Goodhue County. The following Zumbrota area industries were awarded the following sums. 7 agriculture businesses were given $70,000, 2 education businesses and organizations, $11,000, 1 recreation business, $10,000, 2 fitness businesses, $20,000, 1 lodging for $10,000, 4 nonprofits for $30,045, 2 restaurants for $20,000, 4 retail for $35,000, and 6 services for $50,913, for a total of $256,958. As you can see, a lot of these, the criteria for awarding these grants were that they had to show that they were at a loss for the amount that they were requesting, with I believe a cap at around $10,000. So a lot of these businesses received the full amount, and therefore showing that they had that amount of a loss. And there are 3 more businesses in queue as of the end of that current cycle. 3 more businesses: 1 ag, 1 retail, and 1 service business. And I don't know if they've been awarded any new grants as of this year. The Zumbrota the city of Zumbrota also awarded $10,000 to the ambulance service, $10,000 to the fire department, and $25,000 to the Zumbrota-Mazeppa School District. These Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation in 2020 awarded 6 childcare businesses with an emergency childcare grant. The grant dollars were used to get immediate support to childcare providers experiencing financial strain during the COVID-19 pandemic. Grants of $500 to $3,000 were provided on a rolling basis. The exact numbers, I don't have the exact numbers or to which individual business. Marketing efforts. So we continue to work with Explore Minnesota, and we're beginning this initiative with Grimsrud Publishing to produce a regional visitors guide for the city of Zumbrota, in which some of the requirements for Explore Minnesota is that it has to be focused on tourism, and that it, and with the intent, one of the things that they'll be reviewing, so that way we can get these visitors guides distributed through their welcome centers throughout the ports of entry within Minnesota. It has to be focused on if people were to come and visit, not necessarily come and buy and develop, like buy lots, buy homes and develop, but were to come visit and a retail focus on that. So that is what we'll be focusing on. Come to Minnesota or come to Zumbrota and visit here. What are the amenities for visiting here? If you want to stay here for a weekend, what are the sites that you can come and look at? In terms of community development, which are more indirect and provide more quality of life, we did lease out a community garden at 169 4th Street West, and with an adjacent lot, 114 4th Street, for a community garden. The otherwise unused open space was used to grow vegetables and provide outdoor activity for the larger community. Speaking with Mr. Harbo, who's running that, he intends to continue that into this next year.
Hey, Ryan, can I ask a quick question on that one?
Yes.
So did that lease agreement ever get signed by him?
Yes.
And then is there a renew agreement?
We have yet to draft it, but we don't have to go through FEMA in order to get it approved again, because
Okay.
it's the same agreement.
Perfect, thank you.
And I believe it expires in April and May.
So we may just want to get ahead of that this year, so he's
Yes.
not forging ahead without approval.
Yes, I will send him an updated lease, so that way we can begin working on getting that signed on time.
Thank you.
For community information, social media and website, we do continue to maintain a channel 180 local government channel, for those who still like to watch that. And we are surprised we did receive feedback that there are a number of people who still look to that for information. We continue to have a social media page on Facebook, and we've updated the city's website to make it more user friendly. And right now Miranda is maintaining that and keeping that up to date. We've also updated the city hall with audiovisual technology to enable remote meetings and engagement with the public. Public meetings will be recorded and posted on YouTube. So for Planning Commission background, there were, and this just for the awareness of the EDA, there were 5 variances within residential areas and 1 industrial area, mainly to allow structures within the allowable setbacks. Several of these, so 610 Lincoln, and then, so 610 Lincoln especially, it's in an older part of town where the lots are smaller. And so the structures, in order, if they want to expand, put in an addition, they would have to go into this allowed setbacks. So 118 East 4th Street is to allow more than 2 structures in the rear yard. That was to allow an additional shed. An additional dwelling unit at 300 Jefferson Drive. So right now the current ordinance is for an attached additional dwelling unit. This is to allow an additional dwelling unit on a detached structure. In 220 West Avenue, allow the extension of a shop building into the rear yard. So it would be further into the setback of the allowable rear yard. And 780 South Main Street to allow a fence in the front yard, because due to the shape of their lot and the grading, that they wouldn't have been able to put in a fence into their rear yard. There was 1 approved plat in 2020, Highlands of Zebrota 6th edition, to allow 30 new single-family lots. And there was 4 minor subdivisions. So at 1313 North Star Drive, along with 975 North Star Drive, to allow for a land swap between the 2 property owners. And that helped facilitate DFA's expansion. 695 Jefferson to allow an unbuildable portion of a lot to be transferred to an adjacent property. That was for family reasons, just to keep that yard with a certain family member or a certain house like property. And then 664 East 4th Street to allow for the transfer of a portion of a lot to an adjacent property. So that way their neighbor would be able to have access to the rear yard in the future. There were 4 conditional use permits granted in 2020. 24 Jefferson Drive to allow for the installation of a bulk storage tank. 17331 460th to allow an 8-acre solar garden, 175 West 4th Street to allow for the installation of a 6-foot section of fence into the floodway, and then 505 Main Street North to allow for the expansion of mining, gravel mining activities. And there was one annexation on 9th Street and 190th Avenue Way, a 9.81 acres. We expanded this, we annexed that lot into the city because we already surrounded it by more than 70%. So that way we can better control the orderly growth of the city and the appropriate extension of city sewers, city services. There were no zoning amendments to the zoning code in 2020, though there may be one here this year concerning clarification to the zoning ordinances on fences. For building permits, in 2020, it was a very busy year in terms of building and remodels and other like additions and structures. There were 29 permits pulled for 29 single-family homes, 17 for commercial, industrial, and nonprofits. So of those, 17 permits were pulled, and two for completely new builds. The rest were remodels or investments in current structures. There were 93 other permits. So that included residential additions, decks, garages, windows, roofs. People really invested in their properties this year. So we've had a total valuation added to the city of $58,944,157. And that is all contributing to the tax base of the city. In terms of building valuation, the history of it, the past 10 years, in 2020, we've added 29 new residences compared to 38 last year. So the overall number of residential units built within the city dropped, but those that were built were of a higher value. I think this year or this past year, we've only had one mobile home added to the city, whereas in 2019, approximately 8 were added. So of those new residential units, most of them were over $200,000. And in terms of commercial and industrial value, $57,930 compared to approximately under $10 million for every year the past 10 years. There was a significant increase in commercial and industrial building within the city, which is great for the commercial and industrial base, provided we can continue to facilitate that with additional lots. But so the impact of the pandemic has been very disproportionate depending on the industry involved. For retail, it really took a hit. For industrial, it didn't seem to really affect it at all. And for people who already have existing homes, it does not appear to have as much of an impact as we had thought. Many people were spending money and investing in their current homes and selling that, and buying homes. And we still have yet to see the hard numbers for people who are renting or are otherwise who don't have properties, how they were affected. So the effects of this are still being calculated. Our current subdivisions for platting for residential units or residential homes, single family homes, Charleston First and Second Edition are at 88% full. Zumbro Woodlands, phases 1 and 2, 70% full. Highlands, through all 6 subdivisions now, that's at 67%. Sugarloaf Estates at 83%, and I don't expect that to be the last remaining lot to be built anytime soon. I believe the property owner wants it to be a vacant lot. Woodlands replat is at 73%. Jacobson Commercial Park, it's at 83%. There are 2 remaining lots in the commercial park, and in the industrial park right next to it, it's at 71%. So there are 2 remaining lots, and those 2 are owned by the EDA.
Hey, Ryan, can I stop you right there? Because that was
Yes.
what my question was. Are you ready for questions yet?
Yes.
So is there, so I know when we're talking about future commercial development, and we've really talked out by coal store and that whole area, is there additional viable land around the Jacobson development, or is that not where the EDA will be looking for additional development opportunities?
Yes, around Jacobson Commercial Park, Tim Mack did give us prices for land at around 60 cents a square foot. That was
an acre, buy it.
Yeah, right. 60 cents a square foot, which came out to around $29,000 an acre. And that did not include any grading, like rough grading or additional development. So the cost for that came out to be too expensive for us at that time, and that was in 2019 is when we got those numbers. And that's if you follow 22nd Street past Midwest Livestock and commercial water filters. If you go around County 10, up to where the current solar garden is going in right now, the landowner is talking with somebody who wants to build commercial storage units, about 15 to 20 acres in there, but they would need to plat it and develop the land. So the landowner is open to selling the land for development there. Conway Jacobson Estate, I haven't heard much if the current executor, I believe his daughter, is open to selling any more of those lots.
I would say that would be a hard sell, considering what her dad went through with the first development. So I would say probably that's going to take some relationship building there, perhaps. But like, what about the big piece of property behind the Jacobson? Before that, I don't know which housing development that is back there. I want to say Sugarloaf, and that's on the wrong side of town. Shoot. Anyways, do you know what piece of property I'm talking about?
Directly to the west of that?
Sure, yes.
Yeah, that would be the Tim Mack land. That was what he was willing to sell to the city.
That
No,
goes
there's
all the way?
There's
No.
a field there too, isn't there,
Right.
Tina?
Yeah, that's the one between that housing development and Jacobson's
About the Wedgewood.
development.
Wedgewood,
Oh,
thank
yeah,
you.
Wedgewood. That's what it was.
Okay, so between where Dion's is and Wedgewood,
Yes.
Yes.
that's
Correct.
owned by Jim Wendt, and he is open to selling that. I reached out to him to see what his prices were, but I have not gotten a response back yet. That hill would be a little difficult to develop because it's so much black dirt that we'd have to just take that fill out and give it to some farmer.
Sure.
But where the long line area, where it's flat, that's open for development.
So that was my question to this group is if we're moving forward with kind of industrial or types of development, do we want to look at that piece of property and develop that versus going out to the cold store and starting there?
One of the things we'll have to keep in mind is there's only about 6 acres that's in that flat area of Jim Wendt's land there.
Sure.
Versus we're looking at opening up maybe 50 acres.
But I think they're very different use types. I mean, the one out by Cold Star would be for large industrial types of endeavors would be my assumption, versus kind of the addition to the Jacobson development would be more of these smaller kind of businesses that can go up there. That was my question. I just didn't know. I'm sure if we had all the money in the world, we'd go for both, but
Right.
what would be
I'll reach
the
out to-
priority of this group?
Yeah, I'll reach out to Jim Went and engage him and see what he's willing to do, or what, if he's willing to sell that and for what price.
Sure, because then again, it's still finding a developer for it, right?
Right.
Or
And
do we become the developer? Which I'm not sure that EDA is ready to.
yeah, there's
jump
a
into
lot
that.
of, I know some places do that. I think Goodhue does, especially for their residential lots. But it'd just be a lot easier just to cut out the EDA as the middleman and
Mhm.
have the developer come in. So speaking with Brian, we're willing to be the developer, but there's more work and it's more time and effort and money that goes into that, doing that.
Right, more risk on our part. Okay, that
Yeah.
was just my question, is kind of where our this group's kind of focused effort was towards.
Yes.
So maybe if you come back with more information on that piece
Yeah.
of property, it will help us know which direction to go. Thank you.
Yes. Are there any questions for the with the annual report?
That's great, thank you.
To accept it?
Okay, I will entertain a motion to accept the 2020 annual report.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, Lindsay, aye. Brian,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Danny,
Hi.
Tina.
Aye.
All right, motion passed. Is there any further discussion? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
Actually, sorry, I didn't realize we were at the end of the meeting here. If we could just have it on the radar that Lanesboro LinkedIn or whatever it was called. I know that Ryan's leaving, but if we could just make sure that that's noted somewhere so that if some grants become available or something to help move that along, I just don't want us to lose sight of it.
I'll put it in the transition packet, and we have a list of projects, big and small, among city staff. And so I'll include that within the that projects list, and it's part of the transition packet for whomever replaces me.
Perfect, thank you. Now I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, I think we don't need to do a roll call that too.
Yes.
No.
Okay, I guess
Oh,
we
we
are
do?
roll calling. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, yeah, if you have a motion, you'll need to.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, Lindsay, aye. Brian,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Danny,
Hi.
and Tina.
Aye. Aye. Thank you.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.